Okay, so year 8. This week's work is all about our family and our friends, and talking about who is in our family and how old they are. So specifically on Monday's lesson, you'll be learning some extra family names. So mum, dad, aunt, uncle, grandparents, etc. And you'll be understanding how possessive adjectives work in Spanish. So a possessive adjective is my, your, his, her. First off, you're going to copy the sentence builder into your book and practice the vocabulary on Quizlet. So our key question, ¿Cuántas personas hay en tu familia? How many people are there in your family? ¿Cuántas personas hay en tu familia? So the response is, en mi familia hay 5 personas, hay 6 personas, and then you would list who they are. So mi madre, mi padre, mis padres, mi abuelo, mi abuela, mis abuelos, mi bisabuela, mi bisabuelo, mi tío, mi tía, mi primo, mi prima, mis primos. Okay, so mi madre, my mother, mi padre, my father, mis padres, my parents, mi abuelo, my grandfather, my granddad, mi abuela, my grandmother, my grandma, mis abuelos, my grandparents, mi bisabuela, mi bisabuelo, my great grandma, my great granddad, mi tío, my uncle, mi tía, my aunt, mi primo, my male cousin, mi prima, my female cousin, mis primos, my cousins, be they a mixture of male or female. And we need to remember how to say is called. So mi madre se llama Sally, mi padre se llama Jim. ¿Cómo se llaman tus primos? Mis primos se llaman Josh y Ben. Okay, so we need to remember how we change those verbs for is called and are called. Se llama, se llaman. Okay, so next activity is to fill in Prince George's family tree. So Prince George is in the purple rectangle, and you need to draw on the OneNote the labels for all the late names of the family members there. So who is Charlotte? You would say mi hermana. Who is Louis? You would say mi hermano. Okay, so you need to copy from the right-hand side of the slide the correct relationship to George. And we might remember how to say stepbrother and stepsister from our previous work, but how might we say stepmother and stepdad? So that's a little extra challenge for you there. You then have a word cloud with lots of sentences, 12 sentences to translate correctly into English on the OneNote. Next, we have some further explanation about what possessive adjectives are. So I said at the start that a possessive adjective is my, your, his, her, theirs, etc. So my mum, your dad, his aunt. Okay. Think about what we already know about how adjectives behave in Spanish. So we know that they change according to the noun they describe. Okay. And possessive adjectives only change in number. So you might remember in year 7 French, you did mon mamé, ton tate, mon père, ma mère, mes parents. Okay, but in Spanish, you only have 2 possessive adjectives. So my for singular or my for plural. Okay, so look at the table below, copy it into your class book. So my mum and my dad would be me. Okay, but my parents would be mis. Your mum, your dad would be tu madre, tu padre, but your parents would be tus padres. Okay, his or her, su tío, his or her uncle, sus tíos, his or her uncles and aunts. Okay, so your mum, tu madre, his dad, su padre, and her parents, sus padres. So read that table through, have a little think about it. So possessive adjectives agree in number. only. And it's not anything about the person who owns those parents or that aunt or that uncle. It's about the noun. Okay, so tío, tía, primo, prima, abuelo, abuela. And whether it's abuelo or abuelos. Okay, so it corresponds to the number rather than the gender. You have a bit of practice here for the crossword, okay? So you're putting the Spanish for those clues into the crossword. You can write that in your book or on the OneNote. Then to finish off on Monday, you have a language nut assignment. You should all know your language nut because we were using it quite a lot last week. So Tuesday's lesson, you're going to be learning about numbers 31 to 100 to talk about people's age, and that's building on Monday's work. So some of you will be aware that it's National Careers Week. So for our starter, we will be looking at what jobs I've done in the past, Mrs. Crossy, and we might be thinking about how to say my dad is, my mum is, etc. as part of the Careers Week. Another sentence builder, or not necessarily a sentence builder, but some vocabulary here for you. So we have the numbers in tens. So we already know 20 and 30, 20, 30. We're building on now to 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90, 90, and 100, 100. So 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. You've got some practice there on Quizlet, and if your teacher is teaching you live, they might play some listening games for you to do in the chat. Here we've got some maths practice, un poco de matemáticas. So for the first part, you're just writing the two fragments. So 20 makes 20, no. Then you need to find the second half of no to make a number. Okay, then you've got on the right-hand side some sums. 10 y 20 son, so 10, 10, y 20, 20 son. So they make 30, you need to write 30 and the Spanish for 30. And then you've got something more challenging at the bottom. You've got some multiplication and some division. Again, you write the number as a word in Spanish. Here we're putting it all together. We're pulling the family members with ages. So you read the text on the right and you write the correct ages of the people in the boxes. Okay. Then we've got a Tangle translation. So on the left-hand side, you put the whole of the middle paragraph into English. And on the right-hand side, you put the whole of the middle paragraph into Spanish. And if you can try to improve the paragraph with some extra details. Then if you're live with your teacher, they're going to do some live spiral quick fire where your teacher will give you a sentence and you will translate it onto spiral. So Thursday's lesson, we're pulling all that together and you're going to be doing some speaking presentations to introduce your family members. So to start off with, as a bit of a warm-up, you're going to describe these two families, and you need to imagine that you are the person labelled yo. Okay, yo means me. So these are Elena and Thomas are your brother and sister. Beatriz is your mum. Paco is your granddad. Okay, and here Ramon is your sister, your brother. Sorry, and your parents are Victor and Juana. Victor and Juana are your mum and dad, but then your aunt is Sylvia and your cousin is Ramon. Okay, so you need to describe that family in Spanish, record yourself, and then you're going to do a third little presentation using the example here. So en mi familia hay, and then the number of people in your family, and then you go on to talk about them, okay, and give their names and their ages. And then finally for Thursday, you're going to practice listening, reading and grammar tasks on the unit so far, on your family members and those numbers, on Active Learn, okay? And you've all recently logged into Active Learn, so there shouldn't be issues with username and passwords. If there are, you need to contact your teacher in the hour on Thursday. Good luck, everyone.